we have a moon that's going to bring opportunity, and it's opportunity from the past returning to you. And in this way, Jupiter flowing in the sign of Gemini retrograde reminds us of things that were going on in the middle of July that flow to a new moon exactly in a beautiful trine within a couple of degrees. And that new moon is at 9 degrees of Aquarius, and it's a golden opportunity kind of moon if you're plucking something from the past and bringing it back to the now. And over the next 6 months, this moon can unfold the opportunity that can return to you and that you can grow and expand into. Now, one other thing about a moon in Aquarius, it's a moon in Aquarius with Pluto hanging out there, giving this lunation a very powerful flavor, a flavor of something deep and transpersonal and evolutionary and cathartic and potent. And when we look at Pluto, we can also use the word wealth, and Jupiter Pluto energy in combination is a wealth yoga. So there's also something about plenty, prosperity, and wealth that's capable of being generated off a moon at 9 degrees of Aquarius, a new moon flowing to Jupiter retrograde at 11 degrees of Gemini. We're going to cover this for your sign today, and we're going to go into some depth about how you might want to use this lunation, how it could take you into the future with some really good optimism, faith, and hope, plenty, truth, wisdom, and maybe a sense of deep connection to what is true. Because Jupiter, the guru, the dispeller of darkness, he's bringing what is true to you or back to you, in case you forgot what's true. You know, it's not like truth is relative. There is big capital T truth out there, right? But there's also your inner knowing and what's true for you. And I think this is a lunation that really allows you to come home to some part of your story that's connected to the Aquarius sky and remember what's true for you with clues to mid-July. And so as I get going, I'll explain that to you. This is also a new moon that's conjunct the Sabian symbol. And the Sabian symbol for world leaders, a popularity that proves ephemeral, a popularity that proves ephemeral, meaning non-lasting or transient. And that's interesting because when we see a new moon, we have the sun and the moon co-join, the masculine and feminine, Shiva Shakti, you know, the whole deal, yin and yang. But in essence, perhaps, it is about a world leader as well. And so in that way, in that regard, there's a possibility of something to do with a popularity for some world leader that proves ephemeral or non-lasting. Another element connected to this sun-moon conjunction is Icarus. Now, Icarus is about something that falls, the boy who fell from the sky, the son of the inventor Daedalus, who created the wax wings for him and his son to escape captivity. I think he was King Minos that had kept them captivated, captive, not captivated. And so where we could fall, or a world leader could fall. When I see things involving sun and moon, especially like this, it's not you. You're not going to fall from the sky, right? You are not going to fall from the sky. Now, it could indicate a world leader having a fall of power. It could indicate a world leader going down in a helicopter or a plane, or it could indicate a prominent female. It's a new moon. The moon has been blotted out. So I really go with the sun. So who knows? And the other thing that's going on is Apophis, the world destroyer asteroid, you know, the devourer, the evil devourer of the sun god Ra. Now, Apophis is a real asteroid that's getting close to Earth in 2029, April. And in fact, most ephemerises and most software programs stop using the asteroid in April of 2029, like they don't want us to know where that Apophis is going to head to. So there's something very intense about this for the world. It's not bad, though. Jupiter is trining the world destroyer. Jupiter is trining Apophis. Jupiter is trining Icarus, who fell from the sky because his wings melted when he got too close to the sun, and the sun represents power or ruler in mundane astrology. Now, I'm not going to cover this in any depth because this is a moon. That is new, and it is happening. I didn't even tell you when, on the 29th, 30th, depends on your time zone. In my time zone in Vancouver, Canada, it'll be happening somewhere in the afternoon around, the dawn hours, 4:30 a.m. ish. It'll be kind of getting exact in Vancouver, Canada, or a Los Angeles time zone. Adjust for your time zone. But I mean, yes, anytime we have a lunation, anytime in the month that follows it, usually we'll see news stories unfolding that are connected to events, you know, from that moon. But also the moon has a whole 6-month rollout. It takes that long for it to kind of fully express itself, because it's aiming for the full moon 6 months later to fully fulfill the seed that's planted on the new moon here. So keep that in mind as well. Now, before we get, and I also forgot to say the asteroid Ganymede, for the cupbearer who tastes the poison for Zeus. It's the person who makes sure the king isn't poisoned. So the cupbearer Ganymede happens to be squared this moon, and we have a leader who could fall from power. It's in Aquarius, which is the first house of the nation of China. I could make a case that there may be a fall from power of a world leader through poisoning. Now, would we know that there was poison in the leader's body? No, it would probably look like a cardiovascular event, right? To do the unaliving process. So we all know that I've said it many different times, Trump is in harm's way, especially March and April. I did a Horary chart on the inauguration. Would the inauguration go through? And it's funny, before they decided to, or I knew that they decided to make it indoors for cold weather, I said to myself, in the Horary chart, this is going to look like somehow a secret inauguration or a hidden inauguration. It's not going to be outside on the steps of the Capitol building. It's going to be in the rotunda or something. So that is exactly what it shows in the Horary, but it does show he will be inaugurated. And so for those tarot readers and astrologers out there who keep looking for a Hail Mary pass or a Deus ex machina, save the day, not the last minute, this isn't going to happen. I haven't been seeing that ever. And I keep telling everybody, yes, he's going to be inaugurated. Will he last 4 years? No. But his first threat from harm's way will be earlier on. It will be March, April. And he gets past that, he's probably in for a good 2 years before then maybe health problems can be a problem for him. I'm not Democratic and I'm not Republican. I'm Canadian. I'm actually a centrist. I'm fiscally conservative and socially progressive. And so keep that in mind. I get so many people reading my politics and telling me my bias is there, and they're just wrong. Now, speaking of that, before you go ahead and do your sign, because we're not doing world or mundane astrology anymore, on the all signs, I've decided to make a What in the World Wednesdays. And we're starting that in February, and you'll be able to listen to only world astrology every Wednesday starting in February. So if you like that kind of stuff, it'll be sidelined to another day and will no longer be a part of the all signs delineations for my other videos. That makes everybody happy, and that makes me happy too. Some of you know that I express that I'm pretty well sure I am autism spectrum disorder person or neurodivergent. And I have taken several inventories after my revelation, and I always test high. It always tests really high, like way high as a yes. But it's also more than that. I mean, sure, I can get a stamp of approval from some therapist that gives me that good housekeeping stamp of approval. They're going to give me the same inventories that I'm taking anyway. But it's when your whole life falls back into order and you understand yourself and you share with your friends and family, or this point, my partner and my sisters, and they're, oh my God, yes, this makes sense. I see you that way. You are, these are traits that you express all of your life, Lori. Then it's simply what it is. But I get some interesting feedback. Don't dare declare yourself ASD unless the therapist is giving you the stamp of approval. So just to qualify, I probably will do that just for my own well-being. But it's like everything falls into place. You don't need to know it. Now, the other thing I want to say, just because I'm me, I have 3 planets in Aries, okay? Mercury, Sun, and Moon. Mercury's not combust the Sun. Someone said I had a afflicted Mercury. No, Mercury's far enough from the Sun not to be combust in the Aries sky. I want to talk about the idea that I touch my hair. Okay, sometimes I do, not always. But I also am fidgety, right? And that's good stimming, maybe stimming. I do things that can scratch my body, pick my fingernails, whatever, but not really. I don't bite my nails or anything. But when I touch my hair sometimes, I mean, it's just a part of who I am. Have you ever watched Lada at Astrolada? She's always twirling her hair. And for some reason, the last video I did, the Pluto Sun video, and that's Your Life Will Change. And it's a big deal video. So go watch it. Pluto Sun conjunction first in a lifetime gives you a new storyline for your life in the Aquarius part of your sky. But I want to share something with you. I want to share, I'm getting to the point where I probably am going to start. I love your comments, guys. And you ask intelligent astrological questions, and you actually are really exciting in the ways you've been able to cheerlead me or correspondingly say, yeah, me too. I was diagnosed late as an autistic person, yada, yada. That's so sweet. It really heartwarmed me. I teared up in my video that I recorded before this one. This was coming out on a Thursday, but my Monday video, I ended up almost crying. But I was going through my comments today. I'm very much a diligent reader, look for questions, try to answer them. And I think I might be getting an assistant to just take all the negative comments out. I've never done that before. But it's like, why do people need to tell me about my hair? You're listening to a YouTube video, which I'm telling you something, unless you're an astrologer and you're squinting at the chart to look at every degree of the sky, the content can be delivered in an auditory way. It's by courtesy. I'm actually showing you the astrology wheel. So And then I also only do the intro like this, and then I'm showing you the wheel. I'm a little tiny head in the top right corner. So I want to share with you guys something because I'm just in the mood. And then I'm sorry if this is bothering you that I'm going to share it with you, but I need to. It feels good for me to like let you know what it's like to be a content creator out here. And it's not like I haven't had enough rejection in life because I've been a high masking female, but I'm telling you, part of my whole life story is about being rejected and not being normal and not fitting in. And so then I am very, very pissed off when I get shit like this. So, like, for example, I mean, like, why? I don't know if you guys can see these, but I'm going to share 4 comments. Stop using autism as an excuse. I'm autistic too, and it's not a part of being autistic, twirling my hair. Like I said, your hair is beautiful. Hard to concentrate on what you're saying, which I do want to hear when you keep fidgeting. I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying, but if you want a decent amount of viewers, it's common sense to listen to constructive feedback. Tie your hands to the table and give it a go. F off. Okay, no, I mean, I'm in the mood, right? I'm in the mood. It's just like ridiculous. Really, really stupid shit. All right. Interested in your podcast, but stop scratching your hair and head, please. It's unsettling and distracting. Why? Why? You don't have to watch me. You can listen to me. You don't have to watch. You can close your eyes. Okay. I'm going to find one more. Oh, here's another one. Crazy. Okay. Okay, so hang on. Oh my God, help me out, guys. I think this is a new person, but it's very trolly. You know what I mean? Please stop stroking your hair. So inappropriate and distracting. Oh my God. And that woman who gave me the long spiel about autism and, how, the one I read with the, I got autism too, but what you're doing is inappropriate. She had another whole series of comments, it went on and on and on and on and on. So like, I pinned her to the top and then I unpinned her, because I thought, what the fuck, excuse my language. Somebody else made a more comprehensive comment about something that's meaningful. So I pinned that meaningful person. Am I showing the same one again? Or is this the lady I did, Monica Kennedy? I don't know if I'm showing anybody to you guys. Okay, I'm probably resharing the one I just shared. So obviously I'm not good at getting screenshots, but the Monica girl, she came at me more than once, okay? And in her first attack on me, or so to speak, commentary, you're lovely, but please leave your hair alone. Your hair is beautiful. Please don't say, oh my God. There are other expressions one can use to emphasize a feeling. And I said, are you trolling me really? And there's other comments of hers in the middle of that where she just keeps telling me that I don't need to touch my hair. Touching my hair doesn't mean I'm autistic. She's autistic. She knows better, whatever it is. You get the idea. So I had to just vent. Look, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. If you don't like what I do when you watch the video, like whether I'm scratching my hair or I'm pulling my hair or I'm touching my body or I'm doing this or I'm looking here, you don't have to look. There. Wait, that could be a meltdown. You might just witnessed a meltdown. All right, let's go ahead and do your sign. Sorry about that, guys. I appreciate anyone who got through this. I'm sure I lost a few subscribers. I just took a little break there, kind of decompress myself, and I'm back. Okay. Sometimes I like to share a little bit about my experience. I'm going to give a quick share on every video, just not going to do a whole video on it, but I want to talk about what it's like to have demand avoidance and also how you can be rattled by unexpected changes in a social setting. So it's just kind of a funny one. It really hit home for me. A girlfriend asked me to go out for happy hour with a couple of girls that I know, like 2 women that I know and she knows. And I'm like, yay, that sounds great. The 4 of us, I could do that. Like I don't do this often. I'm not like clattering restaurants, big noise. I'm really rattled and loud sounds often, bright lights, loud sounds. And then just as she's coming to my house, we're going to Uber together. She said, oh, by the way, so-and-so and so-and-so are coming. 2 more people, women I've never met, women that I don't really want to meet. And it was awful. It was just absolutely awful. It was a 6 table. I was at one corner. I tried to make small talk with a strange woman next to me. And I didn't like her energy anyway, but then I had to try to, so tell me more about yourself, right? Oh my God. I did know the woman across from me. That was better. The other new woman was way down the line, but it was just like, yeah. But it really it dysregulated me, the sudden change of the plan. It's enough that I actually made the plan. And then I didn't know what to do. I wanted to get out. I had my one margarita. I couldn't wait to leave, but my girlfriend wanted to Uber back with me, and she had 3 margaritas, and I was stuck there for 2 hours. Oh my God. And at one point, just to try to figure out how to make conversation, because I was really paying attention to the wallpaper, because it was this really cool, like 1800s, there's a name for it, Victorian style green and purple wallpaper. And I'm pretty sure I knew it to be Victorian from some research I did about Neptune in the 1800s, pattern recognition. And I finally said to the lady down the table, who's an interior designer, and that's one of the ones I know, is that wallpaper like Victorian 1800s? And she's like, I think it is. And then she starts looking it up, and all of a sudden everyone's looking at the wallpaper. But that's how ASD I can be, right? I'm like, don't know what to talk about. I'm really bored. I want to leave. I'm drained already. And then I have to start talking about the wallpaper, which is what I was fixating on, the details. When I meet people, I have to fixate on one small thing about them, like their hair or their nose. I don't like look at the big picture. And funny enough, every girlfriend always says to me, you always notice when I get a haircut or my hair color changes, like instantly notice the detail all the time, hyper vigilant around micro changes in people's appearances. So that's kind of a combination of demand avoidance. I make an appointment. Often I cancel it if it involves social groups. I made my own demand. I'm avoiding it. Same when the doorbell rings, I don't want to answer. When the phone rings, I never answer. Demand avoidance is what it's called. And then there's a sudden unexpected change in the social plans, which totally rattled me. And there's another thing that I did, paying attention to the weird details, and don't know how to make small talk. Can't stand small talk. I do it. I'm really good at it, but I've actually avoided hairdressers that are really good at haircutting, but they talk through the whole thing. And then I never go back. I don't care how good they are. That talking, by the time I'm out of the hair salon, especially if it involves color and I'm there for 3 hours or something, I have to go into my bed to sleep afterward. So if you think I don't have ASD and I'm telling you this stuff, one of the questions on the inventory was, when you walk by license plates, do you pay attention to the numbers? I absolutely do. And I always, my mind adds them up. So I'm walking down street addresses and license plate numbers. Not only do I notice them, but I often just stop and start calculating what the total number of the license plate or the building address is. Like, this is not normal stuff. This is not typical stuff. It's not neurotypical. It's neurodivergent. And I know I am that. So I pinned a comment to my video 2 back ago with one woman basically scolding me for telling people that I'm that, and I'm misleading them because I haven't had a proper diagnosis. Well, I'm not telling you that I'm your therapist and I'm leading you down a path of bad shit, that you're going to be screwed up because of what I think I am. How could I possibly be doing that for you? So I'm being policed even. It's like so weird. Okay, your sign. And you know how this all started? Sweet Maren Altman is an astrologer I've adored for a long time. I corresponded a bit with her a little bit back in the pandemic when she was just booming on her channel. She's about 26 years old. She talks as fast as me. And she just sort of divulged that she was neurodivergent and on the spectrum in a video when she was saying she was going to stop doing as much stuff on her channel. And she put that video out ages ago, guys, I don't know, a month ago, but I got wind of it and it got me thinking about myself. And then I began investigating. I didn't just discover this 2 days ago and start telling you about it. I just want you to know that. Okay, so it just set me down a rabbit hole. All right. So let's talk about Aries, sun, moon, and rising. So first of all, I'm not going to talk to you guys about the asteroids, but I want you to see what they look like. They're not about you. You're not going to fall from the sky, and you're not going to be a world destroyer. This sun and moon, and it's really 9 degrees, they're actually about world leaders. Okay, this is why I'm just saying they're there. You can see Apophis, you can see Icarus, and the moon will be at 9 degrees, and so will the sun, but I had to progress the chart forward to Aries. So the full moon is connected to world events, Pluto, death, news about a death of a world leader falling from the sky or being poisoned, square Ganymede, end of story, moving forward after the story. It happens to be the house of open enemies for Donald Trump as a Leo rising, just, and the cupbearer is in his 12th house. Second house. In his 10th house. Eek. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to do for every single sign the following theme. I'm going to be asking you all to go back to April the 12th, 13th, 14th. Yes, I know that's when Trump was almost assassinated, which is why this whole Icarus square Ganymede makes me worry again for Trump, because anything could happen in the month after or 6 months after this moon for him. But your own life. Again, you're not a public figure, but what was happening in July, mid-July, around the 12th to the 15th of July, because that's when Jupiter was traveling through the part of the sky. Let's make it even broader. Let's go. What were you doing when Jupiter was, in July, between about the 10th of July to maybe the 16th of July? Because that's the same degrees that Jupiter is traveling as he flows to this lunation. It may mean that opportunity, growth, expansion, luck, positive things that were seeded or happening in July. Again, let's just make it the 10th to the 16th of July. I'm going to write that down because that's good enough. Those are the areas of the sky, 10th to the 16th of July, that Jupiter traveled direct motion. And now he is retrograde over that part of the sky, seeding into this lunation something good, something positive from the past, from a direct motion Jupiter that wants to blossom in the month after this moon and up to 6 months later. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. I wonder how many people unsubscribed after my tirade. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, you are having a big old new moon in your 11th house of good spirit. And it is a house that brings positive blessings, karmic and cosmic rewards, karmic dividends in a way. It's also the 11th house of friends and allies and benefactors and the sibling one older than you, and the gains directly from your career, the money, the success, the rewards of your career, your 10th house. So this house is now having a new seed planted here. And this can mean a very strong energy of some wealth generation and some transformation and some information and news. Mercury, Pluto. You may have some kind of deliverance of some, like you want to deliver some information that's transformative into the public and group sphere. There's your general public that you would approach in a kind of, I want to be a movement maker. I want to influence groups of people. However, it's also your elder sibling, and there could be a new seed in the relationship to that sibling, one older than you. And you might get some wealthy, powerful people that wish to help you in some way. That's at Mercury and Pluto. It's good for also X-ray vision. And, it's kind of like you can see deeply, you can understand deeply, or you're sharing some deep understanding, insights, and depth of intelligence to a larger group of people that you would consider a group that you wish to belong to, your tribe, so to speak. And Jupiter says from your third house, we've been here in a way back in the day. What Aries were you doing in July, like the 10th to the 16th or so? Because Jupiter was in direct motion. Now he's back over the same territory. And some of this moon's fullness wants to take you back in time. And a lot of us don't have good memories for what we did in July. So sometimes look at your photos on your app that you took in, that mid-July timeframe. Look at your emails, look at your phone calls, find an archive of evidence, because I would bet you'll see that in the month that follows the moon, there is something you were doing, or, some things that were happening that are really going to show up in this story for you. Again, I hope my mic is actually on. I didn't even do a mic check before I started. Oh, well. And, Jupiter's in the third house. So it's also your social media house. It's also your local neighborhood. It's also the house of travel and short distance travel and your skills-based teaching and learning. And what seeds did you plant in July that really blossomed as social media success and larger influence of groups of people? For example, I'm an Aries sun and moon, and I had posted that Donald Trump may face assassination in my Uranus-Mars conjunction video, and on Algol, and I'd posted that about a week and a half before Donald Trump's, or 2 weeks, a week and a half before Donald Trump's assassination attempt. And I actually said he faces the chance of assassination close to the 15th of July. And that blew my channel metrics up because people came back to say, oh my God, you were right. And then they shared my video. And so similarly, that kind of seed of prosperity or bounty or plenty in the social media landscape, the media landscape, the website landscape, the marketing, selling, teaching, writing, communicating landscape may return. On the day of the moon, probably not. In the couple of weeks to a month after, evidence will be there for you, and it can keep flowing for up to 6 months as we approach a full moon. Lastly, Pluto likes to understand and go deep under the surface, and Mercury likes to give your mind the understanding from what's hidden from view. What is hidden from your understanding and from your view connected to friends and groups of friends? You may have some new understanding, transformative revelations, and some catharsis here. So look for some kind of deepening and excavation around social groups, friendship circles, as well as maybe an explosively positive increase in success in your career gains as well. Be careful, of course, you don't fall from the sky, Icarus there, but I don't think that's really about us. I think falling from the sky in your social groups, right? You could be like disabused, or your friends want to dump you and you fall from grace or something. But for the most part, I think that Icarus is on a moon. So a woman friend may have a fall from the sky. Her wings may melt. All right. A female in your social groups may have wings that melt and they fall from the sky, so to speak, which means they fall out of your social setting or your social group. Yeah, maybe when I tell some of my female friends that I have ASD, it'll be the end of the relationship, which I'm fine with. Some of them I'm fine. All right, moving on. Yeah, moving on, guys. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is like a new moon in your 10th house of career. And this new moon is going to give you a new seed, a new planting about your reputation and your matters of career and actions that people watch you do. Retired people, what do people notice you do? What's your reputation and social standing? I know a Taurus who just said my social standing is going to be effed because I'm just going to go through this bankruptcy and everyone in town will know I'm a loser. I mean, that's a total Taurus story about my reputation. You're a student. It has something to do with your, grades and your reputation as a student. But if you have a career, it's your career house, it's your work house, it's what you're doing in the world. There's a new planting here, a new seed is being planted, and it's got power, wealth, and transformation and catharsis and Mercury, information, news. And then it's got, of course, Icarus. Now, in this case, some of you may want to consider that your wings are melting in the work you do. Maybe you realize this isn't your cup of tea. Maybe the job you have, it feels like you tried to reach for the top and now you're just like, my wings are melting, I'm going down. And that could be an apt way of looking at it. Maybe you have some kind of boss that's a world destroyer. Maybe a boss is going to have their wings melt and you're going to get to move up the ranks because they get, deposed from power. But there's some kind of, maybe something about falling from the heights in some career space. But don't be worried about it because Jupiter's picking up the pieces. Jupiter in your second house retrograde is a Hail Mary pass on long-term challenges to do with work and career. Jupiter here will make sure that you are not destitute or, struggling beyond your belief with money and career matters. There will be something good trying to happen. And interestingly enough, if you look at Jupiter here, retrograde, he's going back to July. And what kinds of expansion, growth, and good opportunities emerge for you in July? My daughter got a new job then, and she's kind of like already burning out on it. So it could be first job at a university, she's like, corporate kind of thing. And it's a miracle job. Jupiter gave her that miracle job. No one gets jobs out of school anymore that are not like, working at, McDonald's. And so she was very fortunate, but now Jupiter's going back to look at it. That's just an example. My daughter's a Taurus sun. There's something about July, the 10th to the 16th, especially, but Jupiter's back in July zone, mid-July. What were you doing then? Because whatever you were up to, it is back. And yet Jupiter is deepening the bounty. In retrogradation, it's the inner guru, the inner wealth, the inner truth, the inner knowing about your values, your resources, what you desire to have, second house, in the career space, because you can have what you desire. You've taken time to go inward since his retrograde, October the 9th, and to really consider what it is that you are truly, deeply knowing that you want to have in the career matters. And sometimes if you've been chasing the paper or just going for the money, for some of you, this could be a reassessment of, this is not the place for me. This is not the work for me. And yet Jupiter will not let you down, right? He's flowing to that new moon, new beginning, new work. So some of you may be changing your career, changing your job, or changing your work. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Here we have a new beginning or a fresh start at 9 degrees of Aquarius in your ninth house of God. This trines your Gemini character. And so, therefore, your Gemini sun, your career, your home, your moon, or your emotions, or your ascendant, everything about you. The flow from this lunation is A1 good, triple A rating. Okay. And this is going to align you with purpose because Jupiter is the god of dispelling darkness, sure, guru, wisdom, and truth, but knowing what's true for you. And as Jupiter is flowing to the ninth house of Dharma, meaning and purpose in one's life, you are moving towards Dharma, meaning and purpose in your life. And so this is not just the month that follows, but up to 6 months that follows, that this profound alignment is here in a way that you haven't seen, right, since 2012, 13. So this is 12, 13. Also consider that we see in the ninth house foreign lands and foreign shores and foreign places. And certainly because there's a new moon here, a new beginning, and there's information like Mercury, this could indicate a move in the 6 months that follows to things like getting passport or visa or legal papers in place for some longer term travel in your story, or as the moon does represent the home in general, and Mercury is the ruler of your fourth house of home, a decision you might take to spend some time in another country and live in another country for a while, coming off the moon itself. And also spiritual teachers, guides, mentors can be in the ninth house, as well as academic and higher educational storylines. You might be reaching for the sun here, and some of you with Mercury who loves to study, and Pluto, transformation and rebirth, you might be finding yourself engaged in applications in the next 6 months after this moon to go back to school, or for the first time for a youngin here to go to school, and you're applying for your perfect college. I don't know about Icarus with the wings that are falling. There's a lot I could say about that. Again, I think it's for world leaders, for the melting wings. But, if you're striving too hard here to reach a height of success, say in academia or in a legal battle of some sort, those are things that can happen in the ninth house. You might burn out, your wings might melt. So just be careful of that. But Jupiter's protecting the whole story. And Jupiter in the house of you brings you luck, brings you success. And he did the same thing in July. What kind of dharmic success were you getting, like July 10th to the 16th? That's the degrees over which Jupiter is now currently traveling. And it may involve this sense of, oh yeah, back in July, I was having this surge of connection to a deeper sense of my purpose, the meaning of my life. And it's back again to be refined and deepened in a Jupiter retrograde lunation angle. All right. I'm just going to very quickly, I'm going to stop the share and I'll be right back. I need a little banana or something for my blood sugar. All right, let's continue. And I maybe will check to see that my microphone is actually plugged in properly. I usually do a quick sound check, and I realize you guys might have, oh, thank God, it's on terrible audio. All right, let's go ahead and move into the next 3 signs. And yes, where is it? Ooh, I have attention deficit disorder, but not hyperactivity, by the way. Fidgeting is not hyperactivity. Just keeping it real here. All right. We're moving into the sign of Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. I didn't even tell you guys to check out my description box for my 2025 All Signs videos. Oh, well, individual and whatever. All right, moving on to Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, you guys are going to go through this new moon in a very deep hidden house, the 8th house. The 8th house is a house of things that are hidden because you can't see it from your first house, And when we say sun and moon, we pretend your sun and moon are in the first house. We do a solar lunar first house chart. And so in essence, there's something underneath the surface because Pluto is what is hidden. Mercury's information and use, world destroyer falling from the sky. What could it be? I don't know. Something could be revealed. This is a very secrets revealed or hidden things revealed storyline. And this moon has Pluto here, right, for the first time in a couple hundred years. And so Pluto gives it this kind of intensity and this kind of deep excavation of something under the surface. Now, it can be hidden things to do with your finances, your accounting, your banking, your taxes, your spouse, your spouse and secrets they have from you and you discover them, or even family of origin, childhood revelations. It's not going to be a secret even. It could be understanding something. Something's being revealed to you about it. You know, you're having an aha moment. Some clarity is here. And Jupiter is definitely helping out. He's so supportive here. He's in a profound flow to whatever's happening from another hidden house, solitude, aloneness, time alone. And, you know, there's something about going inward in this kind of sky for a lot of Cancers. What do you deeply know to be true about you from other lives, from your Akashic records, from your deepest soul? That's Jupiter's story. A lot of times when Jupiter moves to someone's 12th house, they go back to school, but also they get a guru or they start to follow a spiritual path. And he's been here now since May of 2024. And he leaves in, you know, June 9th this year. The retrograde is deepening something that was going on in July. Now, what was going on in July around financial matters, solitude, secrets, aloneness, chunky money, you know, inheritances. But Jupiter is also in the house of foreign people and foreign shores. So maybe some stories are there for you July 10th to 16th that are coming back for some renewal, revision, and rethinking. Jupiter transits through the 12th house are very lovely. They really give us a chance to go deep into our spiritual truth and discover who and what we are. And a lot of this discovery, especially with Saturn as the ruler of the moon in the 9th house, is about your dharma. You know, it's not about your long range money. It's about the purpose, meaningful money, money that has meaning, moving into meaningful money making, maybe for some of you. And a long range money plan as well, like your retirement plans or your investment strategies or your inheritance managements and stuff like that. But I can't ignore the fact that Mercury's here and there may be some sort of forensic discoveries regarding shared resources with a business partner, inheritance stories. You know, I mean, I can give you a dramatic fake example. You discover that you were actually in great Auntie Sue's will and no one let you know. Now you have to go back and see if you can get the money or something like that. But we're going back as well to July. If you are a commercially active person, like you make money online because you can do digital income, foreign lands, money from foreign lands, Jupiter is bounty and plenty from far off places, distant shores. Jupiter here can definitely give you a chance to go into a kind of recapturing of some fiscal financial plenitude in your online or foreign land, far off places revenue, and recapture it and deepen it and take it further. If you've got any of that bounty in July, especially, then you're seeing it picking up again. So I just realized I was indeed in this small little corner touching my hair and rubbing my hair. Sorry. It's okay, though. You don't have to look at me. Remember that. Look at something else. Yeah. All right. Next. No, not next. One more thing. The occult mysteries are the 8th house. We mean tarot, talking to dead, supernatural, paranormal, maybe occultism of any kind, the mysteries, yeah. So Pluto, holy man, you got him there for the next, 20 years. Like it's taking you deep. This is I talk to dead people. I see dead people, especially talk to. And if you ever wondered if you had any mediumistic skill sets, then you might definitely want to check in and see if you are not able to develop them. But also you may be pointing yourself in the direction of study and learning some deeper occult mysteries over the course of the next month after the moon. And of course, over the course of the next 6 months, as all new moons can take up to a year to unfold. A year, I mean 6 months. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. We got a new moon, 9 degrees of Aquarius on the 29th, sitting in your 7th house. It's Pluto, it's fueled with Pluto juice, which makes it extremely potent. And it's something to do with a new beginning or a fresh start or an ending in a relationship, a significant long-term committed love relationship. So not fly-by-night dating. No, this is my best friend. This is my long-term love partner. This is my business partner. This is my forever client. And you're going to cut, end, and sever. It doesn't have to be one client because Pluto will die it out, unalive it, take it down to death, rebirth, phoenix rising. And Mercury will give you the information news that you want to deliver out there. For example, one of my people I know, hang on, I need to turn the heat down. One of my people I know had a healing practice, and she's going to close it down, and she's announcing or will be announcing to her clients, for example, maybe, this is like information about death of my client practice to my clients, and the new moon is giving you some new beginnings that come off of endings. Although in a long-term committed love relationship, there may be some very intense energy with you and your significant other, because Pluto Mercury will be very intimate, raw, profound, revealing, discovery, conversation, or information connected to your significant other. And the new moon is also very much about that fresh start, right, over the next 6 months. And because we have that melting wings Icarus there, maybe your partner's going through a time in the month after this moon where their wings are melting. Something's difficult in their own lives, and they're revealing it to you or communicating the information to you. And it's just very, hard for them. And, with Saturn being the ruler of the moon in the 8th house of secrets, like it could be that your partner is telling you something hidden from view that you didn't know about. Like, I am really, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be. I know everyone goes right away to sexual secrets. It could be with Venus in the 8th house with Saturn. But it could be any kind of reveal that your partner may be giving to you that you didn't know about them. That would be your significant other, though. Jupiter saves the day in the 11th house of good spirit, bringing karmic and cosmic rewards out of whatever happens in the relationship house. Now, Jupiter in the 11th house can bring you career gains as well. And if it's related to the 7th, it's because of how you reach a marketplace or audience. But Jupiter in your 11th flowing to this moon could also mean a new job offer, job opportunity. And all we have is a transformative contract agreement signing on the dotted line as you take on a new position or work opportunity. And it might surprise you. It might be sudden. It might be exhilarating. Uranus in the 10th house as the modern ruler. I don't really use that, but you never know. A shocking, surprising new job opportunity emerging. And you say, hopefully, yes. Look for the 1 month that follows the moon, but also up to 6 months after the 29th, new moon in Aquarius. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. The new moon, 9 degrees of Aquarius on the 29th, happens in your 6th house. The 6th house has to do with work. Usually it's work. It's like go to work, colleagues, coworkers, employers. There are pets and domestic animals here. There's health matters and health routines here as well. Now, this is a new set, a new beginning, and a fresh start, as all new moons, but it's blessed by Jupiter. And Jupiter's in your career house. And because Jupiter's in your career house and this is a moon in your work house, it's probably not health related, but rather work related. These are the Artha houses. And it indicates a possible fresh start or new beginning in a job. And well, it could be the same job in a new position of power, or it could be a new job coming. Now, wings are melting with the moon-sun conjunction with Icarus. And that can mean something in the workplace is happening where someone is falling from a position, a height of ascendancy, reaching for the sun. Now, that may not be you. It could be your boss or your, division manager or somebody else in the setting around you. But you could also fall here. You might also overreach, overextend, and fall. But not to worry if you do, because, we've got some support from Jupiter here. And Jupiter's, don't worry about it. It'll all work out. It could be if you have a business partnership where Saturn's in the house of partnerships, that a business partnership kind of falls or flails in some way in the month after and up to 6 months after the moon. But Jupiter's going to say, I'm bringing you lucky, blessed prosperity and hope and everything in the work house, in the career house, in the reputation, career and reputation. If you are employed or working, Jupiter's taking his time here. He went back over old ground, retrograde since October 9th, after giving you a spate of luck in July, especially around July 10th to the 16th. It was like, do you want some luck in your work and career? Do you want some expansion? You want some recognition? You want some goodness? Here I am. That was in July. Some of you may not work. You might be retired. Then your reputation was having a glow up. Maybe your public persona was being perceived as powerful and Zeus, mountain Zeus Olympian quality. You might have been really, it's like flying high in your career in July, but if you don't have a career in anything the world was seeing you do, and if you're retired, what do you do to be of service in your daily life? What do you do? Like, do you go to the soup kitchen? What do you do? I don't know what retired people do. Do you knit? Because it's what people witness you doing in the visible space of the world. That's the 10th house. Now, Mercury does tell Jupiter what to do. I wasn't really talking about that because Jupiter's in his house and Mercury's with this moon. So there's a lot going on here about maybe Mercury is like communications, emails, text messages. Okay. And Jupiter is a plenty about a bounty and opportunity. So it's an opportunity that may come to you through text messages or emails or phone calls in the couple of weeks to a month after this moon that is going to look like a positive development in the workspace. That's all I can say. I really, if it's about health, then you have some information about your health that allows you to thrive in your work. That's all I can say because it's really looking very work and money and it's all the angles of the Artha energy. And with Saturn as a ruler of the moon in the house of your marriage partnership, and with Saturn squaring Jupiter more or less, there's opportunities in your career and workspace that are opening up for you, but it may be that it constrains your relationship a bit because Venus is going into an enclosure here just around the time. Well, she's enclosed as this lunation happens between Saturn and the North Node. So there may be some tension in your long-term committed love story as you deal with either health matters or career matters that take a bit of your time. And this includes addictions as the sun rules your house of self-undoing. So that's another element of the health story. Some of you may be working on health matters, and Jupiter could represent an expert authority or a wise guide that is quite well known that's helping you get through it. That's an example. But there could be some strain on your long-term love story if you have one. With that constraint of Jupiter in the 7th house and Saturn being the ruler of the moon, it's kind of like a little tension in the main love story for those of you who have one could be emerging as you're focused mostly on health and work matters for yourself. Libra, sun, moon, and rising signs, storylines, new moon, new beginnings, fresh starts in your 5th house of fertility, children, pregnancy, in the house of creativity, entrepreneurship, and what inspires you, what enthuses you, what projects are you doing that give you a sense of enlivenment. Now, there is Pluto and there is Mercury and there is a new beginning. Pluto going deep under the surface, Mercury information and ideas. On the other hand, there is also the element of Jupiter in your 9th house. And he's like foreign lands, foreign travel, pilgrimages, higher education and book publishing. And he's giving you positivity here in July. Go back to July 10th to the 16th. And he was flowing to your creative house, to your entrepreneurial house, to your inspiration and enthusiasm house. Some of you may have found out you're going to be a grandparent, or you still will. Some of you may be looking at that as a new narrative, or potentially even pregnant. Jupiter is coming back over the old space that he went through July. So how are things going to look in the couple of weeks to a month after the moon? Strangely reminiscent of opportunities and positive things that were happening in the month of July. Right, similar vibe. But now Jupiter is deepening the bounty. He's going backwards. He's taking it inward. It's the inner knowing, the inner truth. It's the wisdom that's much deeper than just our surface wants, wishes, and hopes. So you're coming into a time in which you're really going way more deeply into your dharma. Because if you take away all the other meanings of the 9th house, is that what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of my life? How am I here to be on purpose? This is a very purpose and creativity opening for you. With Mars in your 10th house, a lot of you want to quit your job yesterday or will quit your job or make a change in your job. But any changes you make with that Jupiter energy is to get on purpose. And maybe some of you start your own business, go entrepreneurial, be self-employed. Saturn is in the house of work. Venus is there constrained. She's been malefically enclosed here from about the 20th of January to February 2nd, and it'll be back the first week of April. It'll be back the 24th of April. You keep getting this feeling like work is hard, the job is hard, my life is hard, work is hard, or hard work with no joy or joylessness in work, that kind of thing, or working too hard at the expense of any pleasure. And some of you are getting ready to crack, I'd say. We got that Mars and the trine in the 10th house, and I covered this in another video, but it looks like a lot like some of you might be moving towards more creative and artistic and entrepreneurial endeavors, and a little bit more away from traditional work settings as you move into a greater sense of purpose. Look for this moon to reveal some of that to you in the 6 months that follow, but also more proximately in the first month after. the 29th. All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a story that tells me that you're having a new beginning and a fresh start, as we do every year, with a new moon in Aquarius, which is your home, property, land, and real estate. No, of course, you don't move every year. So why would you move this time? Jupiter in your 8th house. What were you doing in July that had signatures of buying and selling real estate, or inheritance and property, or money and inheritance and land and property and home and moving, themes such like that? It could be royalty income, ad income, inheritance money, shared money with a business partnership, investment income. Those monies, Jupiter is there until July 9th, deepening your bounty, creating more wealth. And he has been retrograde since October the 9th. He's been there since May 23rd or 4th or 5th of 24. And he went retrograde October 9th to deepen the bounty in the long range money, even just changing your tax filing structures, your taxes in some way. Even working with your leveraging, like mortgages and debts, in a new way is what Jupiter will try to bring more bounty from. He's going to extract more wealth that you don't earn directly in your job. And he made a touch point in July, the 10th to the 16th, with this in prosperity narrative. And he's back again now during this lunation, baking in something that lasts up to 6 months, but certainly evidence should be there in the first month after this moon. What is the new beginning? To do with where you live, the property and the home and the land aspects of your life. Pluto can excavate secrets and things that are hidden, and Mercury is the information guy, good old files, photographs, photo albums, paperwork to connect you to childhood mysteries that are being unraveled. And because Jupiter is also in a house of secrets, this is an interesting time as a Scorpio for there to be revelations about your childhood and from your mother. I have a Scorpio rising sun, and I haven't told him I think I'm autistic yet. It's going to be good for him to know that his mother wasn't normal, but frankly, I think he also is on the spectrum. And anyway, so there you go. He is diagnosed with ADHD, but that's never all there is. And I would say this is an energy that looks to me like there's something you might want to do with wealth and power in and from your home. Okay, so I don't know what that could look like. Maybe you'll start doing stock trading. Maybe you'll start doing investing, Mercury, like a research investing, stock trading kind of vibe with this Mercury Pluto down here. When I see this like Icarus with the sun and moon here, just in case, you could have a sense of the wings are melting about your childhood, mom and dad in the home down there. Like maybe there's like kind of a sense of some of the things that you believe were true, world destroyer, wings are melting, some big reassessments of things to do from growing up and being in your childhood and having a reframe around those things. Saturn tells the moon, new moon in the house of home. I'm in the house of fertility and pregnancy with Venus. For some of you in the next 6 months, somebody's pregnant. That's because a new moon, new beginnings in the home, and ruled by a Saturn, Venus in the house of fertility. In the next 6 months, some of you are pregnant. In the next 1 month, probably not, but you never know. Maybe you are. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. New moon, new beginning in your 3rd house. 3rd house of what? 3rd house of communicating, writing, teaching, traveling. 3rd house of neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. The kitchen junk drawer is here. Got it? That's a lot. I know I talk fast. I know I do. You can slow me down. There's a playback speed. So there's something new that wants to generate a current here for you. But with Jupiter supporting from the 7th house, it may also be connected to business partners, long-term committed love partners, audience marketplace, and legal contracts. This is where it gets tricky. If you're using the whole sign house system, which I encourage you to do, your IC could be in the 3rd house. And if it is, this could be a relocation, a new beginning, and a move connected to contracts and legal agreements. Also, you may be attracting a new relationship and if you do, it comes through travel or learning environment. So by being in a learning environment, a traveling environment, or in a local neighborhood environment or a virtual environment. Okay, let's say there's everything in kitchen sink is in there. This could bring a new beginning in a long-term committed love relationship. You can meet a person under this. And if you go back to July, maybe like the 10th to the 16th, when Jupiter was traveling the same seventh house territory, did you date anybody? Is it the same person coming back? Or is it just the idea that I tried dating back then and I'll try dating again? You know what I mean? Like it's a redo energy. And now that Jupiter's retrograde, he brings you what's deeply true, that you have a deeper knowing about, that like if you're going to meet someone and go on a date during this time, it would look better on you. And again, we're talking about the 29th up to a month later. So look for that. There's something wrong with my thermometer and the temperature setting in the house. Like it's still blasting heat out. And then I turn it down, and suddenly it's just off. I'll be right back. Oh my God, it's so warm in here. All right. It's cold outside and it's sunny, right? But I'm sweating under the baseboard heater on my window seat. Ugh. Anything else I need you guys to know? You could also look at this Jupiter in your seventh house as a return of a former spouse and or long-term committed cohab type relationship. Like someone from your past is coming back and there's some connection by email, phone call, or text messages. That's nice third house communications. Or they travel to meet you, or you travel to meet them. It's kind of a return of the past relationship into your life. What happens from there, I don't know. Technically Saturn is the ruler of the moon, and the Saturn story is he's in the fourth house, and that's back to your childhood or your hometown or someone you would have known in early life. And with Venus there, it could be the return of a first love, like your high school boyfriend or something. So let's see what happens. Let me know what happens there, Sagittarius. Capricorn, new moon in the money house. Give me the money, honey. Time to make some money. You're looking at a new beginning, a fresh start in how you earn money. Could be a dietary style change as well. But mostly it's probably about finances because Pluto's the god of wealth and Mercury is very commerce oriented. And we have a new fresh start. Maybe the wings that are melting, is a new beginning because your wings have already melted, right? Because, I don't know if your wings will melt in the earnings house or have melted, but there's kind of that vibe in the background. Jupiter is in the house of work. I just can't make it anything else. There's only two ways to parse this. Bounteous opportunities to improve your health through dietary change. Once again, bounteous, plentiful, learning, understanding, teachings of knowledge and wisdom to better your health through dietary style changes that are transformative. Now that because your wings have melted because you didn't know you were allergic to gluten or something, or you were celiac. Now let's take that out for now and then go to the next story. Information or knowledge that was hidden from your view about something to do with finances. Mercury wants to give the information, new beginnings, excavation, understanding, knowledge. But because Jupiter is involved, it's all very good. It's all very positive. And the sun does rule your house of shared resources with a spouse, and the sun is with the moon, of course. So it could be also tax reveals, inheritance reveals, some, beginnings and endings and changes with spousal support and stuff like that, or divorce settlement monies that already exist. I wouldn't suggest you be looking at it right now. It could be that there's some knowledge or information or wisdom coming to you that benefits you regarding those kinds of finances I just outlined for you. Now, otherwise, Jupiter is like luck in the job place, luck in the workplace, and money, more power, more wealth, information, news, phone calls, text messages, negotiations, deal making. And some of you looking for work or not looking for work, this still looks good on your finances and your work life. The Artha houses are lit. When you go back to July, like July 10th to the 16th, Jupiter was traveling over ground then, that he's traveling now. So what kinds of things were percolating in all the areas I've just discussed, perhaps in July, because they may be back again for renewal and review and redo of some sort. Maybe you were in touch with a headhunter, a job opportunity. Maybe you were looking at those dietary changes. And the money that we see here can be earned money, but also shared resources. So money that you share with another as well. Saturn is the ruler of the moon, and Saturn's in the third house of travel, third house of emails and phone calls and third house of communications in general, but there may be some travel related work opportunity emerging for you. And it may have similarly been somewhat similar in July, for example, but maybe not fully developed. Okay, you're retired. I hear you. What are you going to do with it? A bounteous opportunity to purchase a new pet. I'm struggling on this one, guys. A bounteous opportunity to rent a new property. That could be there too. You never know because of Chiron kind of anchoring a sextile to Jupiter. But yeah, that's a stretch, but I'll give you that one as well. Bounteous opportunity for a new home that heals your chironic wound around home. It can involve property that you're going to lease, or rent, or be a tenant of, for example. Those are other options as well. All right, that's what I've got for you. Your teeth. All right. Jupiter gives you information and knowledge about something to do with your nose, your head, your face, your teeth. Your face is the second house. And so anything to do with your face that you need to discover or uncover, like, oh my God, I just discovered I need a root canal, or just, oh my God, I just discovered that, that skin tag isn't the best thing on my face. I should get it removed. Things like that. Things to do with your face may come into the storyline. Just a thought. And travel's interesting for you because there's a baking in of a malefic enclosure around Venus. And usually we have pleasure when we travel. We enjoy our travel, but there may be some kind of constriction in the travel story in the month that follows this particular lunation. And it could be all kinds of constriction. It could be visa, passport problems. It could just be delays or flights are out. But there's something about kind of a constraint around travel, that you might be feeling, on the 29th of January at about 2 to 4 weeks, and may even unfold into a larger constriction that could last all the way through 6 months. So keep that in mind. All righty. All right. I am your neurodivergent Aquarius astrologer who's touching my hair just for everyone. It is your time, guys. We are on the lead goose for humanity. I didn't know that I was going to discover a potential ASD diagnosis, autistic spectrum disorder, until Pluto firmly lodged himself into the Aquarius first house of my rising sign. Some of you, your sun sign is your career, your rising sign is everything about your character you play in the game of life, the avatar, simulation character. Your moon can be your mind and emotional body, but also your home matters. Okay, so we are all having some kind of Plutonian transformation. And there is a new beginning, a new moon sitting here, 9 degrees of Aquarius with, of course, Mercury. Now, Mercury here is like information and news that you uncover, but you may also be speaking it. When Mercury is, the microphone is Mercury in our first house. Okay. We are communicating. We're not receiving the communications. We are the communicator. And so what are you communicating that was deeply hidden, or is cathartic, revelatory, transformative? For me, I'm clearly seeing it's been this ASD discovery, and I'm sharing it with you guys to probably the detriment of the channel, but oh well. And yes, there's Icarus. And yes, there's the world destroyer. But are we going to destroy the world? Or is our world destroyed? And the wings are melting. Have they always been melting? That's what we call autistic burnout. Or what do the wings melting mean? Because, Icarus was flying on the wings that his dad, Daedalus, made, the inventor, in order to escape being imprisoned with his dad by King Minos, the Minotaur guy, I think. And so maybe there's a story here for a lot of Aquarians in some way. I want you to really think about this, of where you want to escape in an inventive way, something that has held you back, that made you feel like you couldn't reach to the sky, you couldn't reach for the sun, your wings were melting. I'll just make that story up. I used the Icarus story mostly for a world leader falling from power, okay? And this is also very connected to China's Aquarius first house, What I would say is go back to July. Why would you go back to July? Because July 10th to around the 16th, Jupiter was in the same terrain he was then, flowing to this particular moon. So July will have clues for you. Go back to your memoirs, your diaries, your emails and phone calls. Archival information is there if you look for it, because it's also what Jupiter was doing in the house of entrepreneurship, creativity, what Jupiter was doing in the house of romance and sexual love, what Jupiter was doing in the house of children and your relationship to children and your own children. There's a lot to be said about Jupiter in the fifth house. This is a money luck house, for example, to win money, and Jupiter can definitely bring it, still until like June 9th. Some of you may win some money, but did you try to win some money in July and did it fail? Now he's back again. Could you win some money that helps you completely transform your identity? Possibly, because that's the transformation of Pluto and the bounty and luck of Jupiter. For example, if I won a mega lottery today or yesterday or tomorrow, I would probably be a writer full time again. I would still do YouTube, but I would let go of every other obligation I have and I would write, because I was a writer all my life. I still am a writer, I think. Come check me out, the Substack Pluto Chronicles. But that's an example. Jupiter wants to do something here in your fifth house that he's capable of doing every 12 years. So it's not that new, but what's really new is Pluto flowing to Jupiter from Aquarius. So sure, Jupiter tried to pull off some wins for you back in, like, say, 2012, 13, right? That's an example. I believe that was when I had a stock takeoff, like a massive stock lift on a risky investment, but that kind of stuff, some unexpected financial gains, some big bounties could happen here, but not with Pluto. And Pluto, Jupiter creates a wealth yoga. So there's something about wealth, power, transformation, catharsis. It's a deep story for you guys. Saturn is ruling the moon from the earnings, money, possessions house. And so it really does keep going back to, you've got this Venus besieged right now, or malefically enclosed is probably the better term for it. And she's between a rock and a hard place in the earning space. She's between Saturn, diligence, hard work, and durability, North Node, expansion, worldly success and growth. And Venus just feels hemmed in. Just doesn't really like how she feels at this time of this lunation. So one of the themes about this, and she gets out of the enclosure on February 2nd. She got there on January 20th, but she's baking it into the chart. So you might have to deal in the 1 month after this moon and up to 6 months after with figuring out something to do with not being compressed around the money earnings story in your life, right? Not being compressed by the money earning story in your life. Voice, vocation, calling, money earning story, compression. Because ultimately, there's some deep personal transformation going on in your career, in your identity, in your emotion and feelings and mind complex. If it's your moon, then of course you're thinking Aquarius people who are Aquarian moons, you're thinking a lot about your own home and where you want to nest. All right. Anything else I have to say to you? Mercury's got a lot to say to Jupiter. So Jupiter is like, I want to bring you deep, true wisdom in the way you are creative, expressive, and how you use your talents and gifts in this world. And Mercury says, filtering the information back to the native, which is you and me, so that we know how to do that and how to communicate what we need and want as well. To ourselves, really. We don't need to communicate to anybody else. But because the sun in this new moon is the ruler of the house of the marketplace and audience, you get stuck with me, your astrologer, telling you everything about my ASD problem. Or I think it's not a problem. I feel so relieved. It's not funny. It's like everything makes sense. And I don't have to feel like I understand I'm not a black sheep. I'm a divergent swan. All right, moving into the last one. This is the Pisces story. You have a new moon in Aquarius on the 29th at 9 degrees of Aquarius with Pluto right there and Mercury. This is a new beginning in your spiritual life. If you have a spiritual life, if you want one, you're going to get one anyway. This is your solitude and alone time, your contemplation, your spiritual aptitude, moksha, ninth house, spiritual liberation, are connecting the dots with Pluto support in a new beginning. And you may have fallen from the sky here. You might have like, oh my God, my wings have melted, or I haven't really quite attained my spiritual heights that I thought I was capable of. And you maybe are starting over here or figuring out something new. And also, I would say hidden enemies are your 12th house. And maybe you've had your wings melt for people who didn't have your back in life, people who sabotaged you, your own self undoing and self sabotage. Even addictions can be of the 12th house. And maybe you're just like, new beginnings, fresh start, done. My wings have melted too many times because I can't stop, drinking, smoking, snorting, whatever your problem is, or even just being your own worst enemy, undoing yourself, basically falling away from your heights of power. And you're going to really learn now to maybe not do that because Jupiter's trying to help you. And Jupiter's in your 4th house of childhood. Go back to July 10th to the 16th. What kind of childhood reveals were you having, if any? What kind of understanding, knowledge, and wisdom around growing up, being you, being a child, the house of the mother herself, the family of origin? Because these are big excavations when you see this much stuff going on in the 12th house vis-a-vis the 4th, including ancestral stories, including hidden ancestral patterns that you have been at the mercy of, and you're not even aware of it until now. So Jupiter retrograding back over the July 10th to the 16th means he's taking you back to themes then, but he's deepening the bounty because he's retrograde since October 9th. And you're going even more deeply into the hidden stories of your childhood or your family or your ancestors. Now, practically speaking, it could be opportunities to buy a home or sell a home or move your home to another country. That's just one option. The ruler of the moon is Saturn, and Saturn is sitting in your 1st house. You're trying to get realistic and serious about your life, responsible and down, like sage-like and wise about what you wish to do in your life. You're looking at this Saturn over all through your chart. You're looking over at the marriage house, right? Like, is this the right person for me? You're looking at the home. Is this what I want? You got sober-minded realism, sagacity. You got a few tricks up your Saturnian sleeve. And Saturn is going to be able to tell you what to do in a way. He manages that inner life 12th house revelatory process. Some of you can make money from home. You can have a home-based business and international digital income and revenue, and you might be propelled to start going in that direction because of the sky. Now, wings melting, falling from the sky, Pluto, Mercury, solar energies and stuff, lunar energies. A family member who's elder, Saturn ruled, could be in a setting of a hospital, leading you to some bounty or legacy wealth or money from that person. That's another angle on this. And it's not just on the day of the moon. It's up to a month after, up to 6 months after as well. Usually you know what it's about within the first 2 to 3 weeks after the moon. Now you're feeling stuck, right? Venus is enclosed between the North Node of ambition and the Saturnian realism of what, duties you have to do. And you're looking at life through this kind of pleasure, duty be first, pleasure second. And this is a feeling you're going through right now on the moon itself. I mean, it's already started on January 20th, finishes February 2nd, back the first week of April, back April 24th, 3 of these enclosures of Venus stuck between Saturn and the North Node. So life might feel really hard right now. You really might feel like, well, first of all, you might enjoy your solitude, and solitude might be a balm for you right now. But with the stellium in the 12th and Venus, the pleasure of Saturn alone, the pleasure of being separate or outcast. But I'm bringing it up because this kind of containment of what you truly desire, Venus, and your true pleasures and joys in life, this is frustrating probably. There's this kind of sticky place for you, and you want to probably break free. If you're, if you got 2 people holding like either side, like you're under arrest, you might want to break free of the containment here. So you want to break free for higher love, exalted love, soulmate love, true love, tantric love, because Venus is like, bring me a higher love with Neptune. And there's this constraint, and that could be in your marriage because the South Node over the next year and a half for long-term committed love stories is going to deplete the relationship. And you might be looking at your relationship, and the question might be about, is this over? Now, Jupiter would be about Gemini, expressing the separation between 2 of marital, financial, property assets, for example. Those are some thoughts I have for some of you. Let me know how it's going and what it feels like to be you. That's all I've got. I'm just sitting with Mercury rules your spouse. Okay. Just generically, spouse may have health challenges in the month or up to 6 months after this moon. Okay, that's definitely a thought I have here looking at this. Okay, and are those health challenges significant enough to lead to, you know what I mean? Unaliving, I don't know. I can't tell. This is not a personal reading, for God's sakes. And don't be afraid and tell me I shouldn't have said that. I'm just giving you all the options. Most likely, because Saturn is the ruler of the moon, it's an elder. It's an elder spouse then. Like, like, I don't know, that kind of feeling. You're, I mean, this is not like you're, on your 20s and something bad is happening with your partner. Not that at all. All right, that's what I got for you. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the share. My 2024 All Signs Bundle individual videos is down below in the description box. Hit the more button. Just more, and then it unfolds a whole description box, my website, my Pluto Chronicles, Substack, and etc. My classes, my Patreon community, it's all there. Patreon community gets this early access ad-free today, or tomorrow. I'm recording on Saturday, January the 18th. We'll get this probably Sunday the 19th, and you guys are going to get it 4 or 5 days later. They don't ever have ads. You guys complain about the ads, default ads by YouTube. I could go through every video though and start deleting some of them, and maybe I will. Someone said they had 3 ads in Taurus for one of my videos. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I see the ad breaks usually looking at breaks just before the all signs, like Aries, Taurus, and there's like a little mini ad skip with a skippable feature. You can hit the skip button. They've been doing that with my videos lately, okay, in the last 6 months. But it means me going through every single ad default that they put into place and deleting it. All right. And I could start doing that if it's too bad. But you guys, there is something called YouTube Premium, or you can hit the skip button, or you can join my Patreon community for $5 a month and never watch an ad ever again. But I think it's better to just get the YouTube Premium, which is $5 a month probably anyway, and then you're never watching ads for anybody. Maybe it's more than $5. I don't know. I've had it for so long. All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to definitely think twice about putting this video out the way I recorded it, because I know that I had a meltdown, temper tantrum bit there. But what the hell? Like, what the hell? I think I'm just going to leave it and let the chips fall where they may. I'll let the chips fall where they may. Here's Vancouver on a sunny day. I always show you guys my view. Sometimes I do anyway. Wait. There, can you see it? That's a north-facing mountains, right? I'm in a north-facing unit. I'm in a north-facing unit. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share. Thank you.